Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, folks, wherever in the heck in the world you are. It's the one and only notorious, glorious ape himself, V the Grill Economist, coming to you live with our main guys over at Rogue Coin, over at the cryptoschool.io. It's Z and Cowboy. Simply Frank could not join us. He's a little under the weather, so Frank's sitting out today. But Cowboy and Z are here. And guys, you can get these guys over at thecryptoschool.io. Just go over to the Crypto School. Click on, if you are someone who is already proficient in cryptos, you already know how to handle wallets, you already know how to handle exchanges, and you just want to learn how to trade, click on the Watch Us Trade button over at the top of the screen. Click on it, join it, and you'll be able to join the chat room, the trading room, the trading room where Z and Cowboy are, there where they make their calls. These guys have returned over 600% right now, verified 600% on returns and profits. I mean, these guys are absolutely badass, especially in this bloodbath of a bear market. These are the guys that can navigate the waves, that can navigate the storms that are ahead and allow you to profit while everybody else is pretty much hodling and running for their lives. Again, the cryptoschool.io, the cost is $149.99 per month, and that is up until April the 15th. April the 15th will be the date for that to happen. And with that being said, Z, Cowboy, what's going on, guys?
Yo, how's it going, man?
What's going on? What's going on? Sorry, I apologize to everybody about last Friday, guys. I was in the desert, about to run out of gas, so I just, I was trying to make it work, but it just did not work.
Yeah, Z was, Z is a good guy. Had a buddy out in trouble, and so he had to go drive out and see him. But I think we had a pretty good weekend overall. Actually, we had some.
Oh yeah, heck yeah!
Some great wins. I know. There's a few coins that we call that just really have done great in all of this blood. Bitcoin itself is kind of wanting to decide what it wants to do. So, Bitcoin's a little bit tricky right now, and we can take a look at that. But,
share your screen and lock it.
Oh yeah, we're not. Sorry about that. One of the things that in this game that we always talk about here on the show is that. Give me just a second with the screen, guys. Is that it's a three-dimensional game, right? So if anybody's ever traded currencies, you've got your dollar and your say Canadian dollar pair. You have your different pairs. If you ever did like Forex, and that's very similar, pretty much identical to what we do here. And Bitcoin kind of controls the market. So when Bitcoin goes down, and it goes down heavy, you're going to see usually a dump with the rest of the coins in the alt market. You do have your few exceptions, and Z and I, we have a penchant for finding those exceptions, right? So, the way to look at that is, and can we see the screen now, guys? Are we locked in?
Yeah, you were locked in, bro. Go for it.
Yeah, so what we do is we look for coins that are performing well. We just had a hell of a spike on Ven last night. We actually had posted some information about Ven, only that there were rumors that, something was coming. And we actually had a support zone of Ven at about 3,300 is where it started. It actually was all the way down to like 2,700, but more of a support zone than a support price. And, so we pretty much live called out to the guys. Well, Z's been doing it all week, but I was more on over the weekend. I was not a moron, but I was just more on. And, I went ahead and said, hey, we got the support zone. When it hits this around that 32, 33, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to buy in. If it goes a little bit lower, I'm going to buy in with like kind of a smaller bag. And then when bullishness is confirmed, I may buy in a larger bag. But if it keeps going down, I will put little buys in this buy zone all the way down to that kind of 27, 28. That thing, if anybody's ever worked in like a chem lab or anything like that, high school chemistry, Mr. Wizard type crap, it was like right when the steel wool hits the battery contact, that thing was shot up. We saw oh man, what's the math on this? I got Ven open, I think. Where is it? It was really exciting because I just had, was watching a movie with my fiance at night. We're chilling out, and I take a look and I see this candle on Venn, like holy moly, because I've been checking it. And if you're looking on the screen, you can actually see it right now. If I clean up this chart a little bit, just that candle right there. And what's amazing about that candle, it went from 32.108, and it spiked at 43. That's 11 points. That's more than 33. That's like 35% rise. And that happened actually. You can see it on like the 5-minute chart, how quickly it happened. It's still one candle, even on the 5-minute chart. That's insane.
Wow.
So, the fact that it rose that fast, yeah, I went ahead and just sold it right at the top. I didn't try to play any games with it. Venn actually had an announcement that they're getting listed on BitThumb. We didn't know it was coming. Z's been calling Venn since he heard of Venn, and then Z and I have been following it, and it's one of our favorite coins to follow. So
that's the announcement that the guy said.
Okay. Well, yeah, Z's been talking about it. So, and it was, I think we had some rumors going on. And it spiked right up. Now, I knew to sell it right here for 2 reasons. Okay. There's more than 2, but the 2 very obvious, very simple reasons that somebody could say, come into our school and learn pretty quickly, because I pretty much explain everything I do in there. And Z does the same, is that look at the size of this candle compared to these candles. Okay. So look at the price. Look at this. I mean, this is, I don't know, 30 times the size of these candles. So when you see a candle that's that massive, and then you look back, I'm going to squeeze this graph, squeeze this chart. If you look back, you see a bit of a resistance right here. And if you even, there's a little action right here. The price kind of rotates around this channel. I'll draw it for you. Let me find my square here. And this is just the stuff that Z and I do all day, right? So you got this sort of a bumpy ride channel right around here. And not too far from there, we have seen the price stop like right here. There's some movement right here, right here. There's definitely this area where I had drawn up an old flag right here. There's movement, all in this area. So that's going to be like a potential resistance, aka support. And see the green that I drew right here? If you extend that all the way through here, you can see right where the candle stopped. So it was just a clue. You really can't chart FOMO, and people were FOMOing. So I just figured, you know what? It's kind of stopped. It's out of support. It's just an exchange listing. I'm going to sell. And I sold right at the top. I had other people, oh, let's buy in. Like, I don't know. So what we'll look at briefly here with Venn, since our listeners really like Venn, and then we'll go to talk about Bitcoin, is we're going to do a Fibonacci retracement on this, okay?
And real fast, guys, just for everybody to understand, support, if something breaks out of support, that same support level then becomes, in a sense, resistance. So that's why Cowboy knew to sell, because when it hit that marker, it essentially becomes heavy resistance at that point. So then it sort of becomes a ceiling, you may say.
That's
running out of steam.
The real important thing Z just mentioned, and in the cryptoschool.io, Frank and I have actually done 2 videos on that. So if you actually go to the Crypto School and you get access to our videos, I think it's like $300 a month or less, $295, I think. V, is that about right?
Say again.
The Crypto School, just for the school.
Yeah, the school itself that gives you the basics. I mean, there's the curriculum that teaches you wallets, exchanges, how to move around. The whole plethora of things is $297 one-time fee for a lifetime of membership for the curriculum. It is absolutely invaluable, and we're always adding more and more things to that. Now, if they get done with that and they're ready and they're proficient enough that they want to go ahead and join the trade room, then you go and click on Watch Us Trade, and you get on with Cowboy and Z.
Yeah. So, and support resistance is actually like the first one of the one of the first videos we did. I think it's probably one of the most useful things that we use. And what Z mentioned is something that really needs to be highlighted. So when, like, let's just say right now, this were to break through this resistance line, okay, if it actually went up, right, this resistance line, and this is like a free class, you get a little something for free today, everybody. You're welcome. So it will go up, and we're going to pretend for a moment that give me just 1 second to mark this right. We'll pretend for a moment that the next resistance is right here, just for educational purposes. Everything we say here is educational purposes, matter of fact. I mean, this is all entertainment. None of it's meant to be used for any kind of financial gain. I mean, that's the disclaimer. Past results are not indicative of future results. And don't listen to me. I'm just entertaining people for fun here. So if that was in fact a new resistance, then you might have another drop down right here. So resistances and supports really become one or the other depending on what side the price is on. And that's pretty much how it works. So prices below this resistance, once it breaks above, now it's a support. Okay, that's what Z's talking about. With then we'll talk about Bitcoin here in a second. I know that's kind of Bitcoin, Litecoin, those are two we're deaf. But before we go on to Bitcoin, I'm going to do a Fibonacci retracement. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to see where the potential bounces are. Okay, so I'm going to go by candle body as opposed to wick. So these are your wicks on your candles. These are your actual candle bodies. And I'm going to do that. And let me see. So I start here, roll there. So these are your kind of more likely levels where you might see a bounce. You got the 786, 78.6% of the total rise. You get your 618. And what I tend to do is I go back and I look for some areas where there might be possibly short-term support. And this is, I focus more on the actual Fibonacci indicator than I do on the short-term supports, because short-term supports are however they work. Now in this particular case, you have like a kind of a potential port right here where it came up and bounced off, and that's going to be a resistance possibly. Same thing here, bounced off, that might be a resistance. And then you have a lot of action around this line. So I kind of, whenever I see a lot of action around a line, I sort of feel like sometimes I put it in the middle. And when I did, it actually ended up right on this Fibonacci level of 786. Well, I shouldn't say coincidentally, but that's just what happened. So we have a decent chance also here, because I think this right here, this already is passed. We've already broken through this support. So you have another support right here, which is right on the 618. So as I've gone back and I've chosen some what I think are supports, they happen to coincide with these Fibonacci levels. It's just a little bit of a reinforcement. It's not an exact science, okay? So I'm going to find out here possibly where we bounce, possibly here, or possibly here. So where my arrow is right now, we may actually see a bounce right off the resistance, the support I mean to say, or possibly down here at this support. It happens to be a possible short-term support, and it matches up with Fibonacci levels. So it's just a real simple use of your Fibonacci retracement. And we're going to be monitoring. So that's on the call channel. We're going to monitor, we're going to update. And then the lesson here for me, because I don't give anybody else lessons, but the lesson here for me is I make sure that I confirm bullishness before I buy, because you'll cross this line and then you might play around with what's called a dead cat bounce, where it just kind of hits and then bounces. And if that happens, like, oh, it's going up, buy, and then it bounces down and then it goes down further. So, we do like to confirm bullishness before we buy. So that's really how, hold on guys, sorry. That's really how this works, okay? Fibonacci retracement, very simple tool. We got videos on it coming up. we got Bitcoin. You look at that. Bitcoin is, I think the sentiment is bearish right now overall. I think the long-term sentiment is still bearish. We're having some sideways action, which I do like to see. I'll go ahead and squeeze this graph a little bit. So on this part of the chart, you're looking at a couple of bear flags. This one's even kind of like an upward wedge we might be falling out of. And this is current price right here on the chart. So let me see here. I'm going to go to a higher time frame. So our big February dump was right here, okay? And it was about 5,900 or so. So we're kind of thinking and expecting a double bottom. Now for a double bottom to occur, that's right about 5,900, 6,000, right about here. And there's been a lot of people saying that we're expecting a $6,000 eventual drop in Bitcoin. You know, that makes sense. You know, I can definitely see that happening. It's almost a self-fulfilled prophecy. We're seeing a lot of FUD going on as well. So, you know, if they want to push it to 6, they'll push it to 6. I mean, we're so close with the bearish market. We're looking for that $6,000 bottom before we really confirm bullishness for the long term. And even so, you know, when it hits 6,000, it could go further. It could actually go down, and we will monitor that as well. For the moment, we're kind of, as a community, like betting and hoping on 6,000 because we all like to see the big, you know, the big bullish market. But the reality is that, you know, even in a bearish market, Z and I are increasing Satoshi levels by, we're well over 600% since the last time we actually did the math. I think, Z, how far did Juan go since we called it, since you called it? How many percent did we get on Juan? And that was just over the last, you know, last week or so.
I haven't been monitoring it, but quite a bit. Juan is like very, very healthy right now. And we'll talk about this, guys, later on once Cowboy's done with his tutorial.
Well, basically, we have a couple of coins that we want to talk about here towards the end of the show. And one of them, actually, we're going to sort of give away for free a little bit to the listeners who are, you know, we've already talked about it in the call room enough times. So, you know, the information has been entertainingly shared. We've entertained everybody with it already. So we might bring it out towards the end of the show. But for now, we'll kind of talk a little bit about Bitcoin here. So to kind of come back to where we were, if you look on this time frame especially, I'm going to widen this out. We're falling out of a downward wedge is what it looks like to me. Okay, so we look here. This is the 4-hour chart. Each of these candles is 4 hours. Now we do see some upward pressure right here. So when you see upward pressure, this is almost a hanging man. No, it's not. I lied. So this right here, though, might just be. Although, you know, I'm a little more scared when I see a hanging man candle towards the top. And basically, that's all jargon for we expect a drop. So, you know, we're seeing a little bit of bearishness here. We're seeing a drop potentially happen right here. Where would it go to? Well, the last sort of bottom was like around the 64.70 area. I think there's actually support there. But the one that I just drew at the wider time frame is this 5,900, 5,950, so right around the $6,000 level. So, you know, I think it is possible that we will go here. I think that's very possible, although it might not be a straight line. You know, it might go down, it might go up. We might see a rally. Bitcoin is extremely well known for going the opposite way that you think it's going to go. So, you know, it might be that the big boys over at the CBOE decide to want to push a rally to liquidate all the shorts. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen with it. We've seen a lot of manipulation and a lot of FUD. But I think that whether it happens in a straight line or whether maybe it happens over some more time on a larger time frame, it might go up before it goes down. But I think 6,000 is that number that everybody's looking for.
Yeah, I'm looking at like 5,800
There you
myself.
go.
I think we could definitely see that.
So there it is. Yeah, it could sort of candle down to 5,800.
Yeah.
It can go down to 57. I mean, this is the reality of it. So, anybody, Z, is there anything else you want to talk about Bitcoin, or should I move to Litecoin?
We took a while there in that TA section. Let's just go into more FA stuff. I mean, we can take a quickly look at Litecoin, but we're probably gonna have to talk more about FA right now.
We got enough time in the show for all of it, so let's hear what you got on some.
Yeah. News. Also, guys, after the whole Litecoin thing, I want to look at another thing that's I think it's I think it's a hot coin itself. I think BCH, man. What do you guys think about Bitcoin Cash? We'll get into that right after Litecoin. Go for it.
All right, Z, what you got on some fundamental analysis for us?
Well, I mean, no, I just wanted to talk about let's just talk about BTC. I mean, and what any potential news or so forth that might be coming out. For those of you who don't know, BTC is there's some talks right now about potential additional restrictions going on in other countries. I think Japan has been riling up right now with some news on BTC, which also caused another dip in it. However, the overall sentiment is that the regulations will be positive, but just know that is around the corner right now, and they are currently discussing it at the moment.
I think we've had enough rounds of sovereign FUD. I mean, you had the China FUD twice.
There's never enough rounds of sovereign FUD, dude. China's been causing sovereign FUD for 5 years now, and every single year it drops it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just what's going on. So what I think happened personally at the G20 summit was that the three countries that I can think of that regulate Bitcoin the most are China, Russia, and U.S. They seem to want to regulate it, and them and their vassal states will do the same. Japan, South Korea, those are two of our. Well, Japan's a vassal state. South Korea is definitely linked to us, although less and less. But the point is that the way I heard it, and the way it makes sense to me, is that saying that okay, we're not going to follow the leading countries' desires just for any reason. They're kind of making it known that each country wants to do their own thing. The reality is, the economic power centers are China and U.S., and I think to a degree Russia. But V, you can correct me on that one.
Yeah, it's Russia, and also let's not forget Germany. Germany is the engine of Europe, and Germany is swinging more and more east as the days fall off the calendar.
Yeah, so there you have it. Yeah, Germany, the country that decided not to, demanufacturize. That's even such a word. Deindustrialize. Thank you. So the point is that those three countries are pretty kind of suppressive because it's taken away from their game, and they're also controlling a lot of other countries. And I think that the general sentiment is that they may want to push the price down to kind of get rid of some speculators and things. We could see that happen. We're seeing it happen. It's what the Japan FUD probably is a big part of that. But I think there's a lot of money to be made in Bitcoin, and I think there's a lot of money for sovereigns to be made. So I can't imagine they're going to kill it. And we are here to find opportunities, whether it's going up or down. So
there you go.
You got any? Did you have any kind of good fundamental analysis for us, Z, on any other coins that seem interesting to us right now?
No, we can just go through the graphs, man.
Okay. So, here's Verge. Z, what did you call Verge at? Do you know what price you called it at?
Yeah, I called Verge at was it 390?
So here's Verge right about 430. So I think you actually called it maybe back here. Did you call it all the way back here? Yeah. So
yeah,
this is so whenever you're looking at a chart and you're like, man, I wish I would have got in right here, like that moment, that's the moment Z called. Okay. So Z called it somewhere back in here, might have been back here, but basically at the price where my cursor is right now, right here. So there you go. probably right around here. And then all of a sudden you see bam, 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 bam. So this nice rise, which has peaked at 707, which is a 85%. I mean, just off the top of my head, it's a 80s and 90s% rise. It's great. God, I hope my math is right there. I hope I don't sound like an idiot. So the point is that this nice fat rise, we called ahead of time because Z knew about some information, some rumors, if you will, about Verge. And, Verge had some nice runs over the last couple of weeks. Actually, the last week, really, this kind of started on the 22nd. Today being the 2nd of April. So there you go, about 10 days ago. That information that we heard, because, this is all we do. We talk to people, Z's got a network of guys, I've got a network. We all talk around, oh yeah, we heard this, we heard that. And so, Z heard some kind of a birdie, and that birdie said this and that, and they didn't give him any illegal information, but it was just some information that was okay to give. And we ended up, having this massive rise, and it is sustaining that rise. On this time frame, Verge currently looks bullish.
It's an accumulation right now, going sideways.
Yeah, it's a sideways accumulation, but you have this this bull flip right here, where the Ichimoku cloud is turning green. That's a good sign right there. It means that it's just a bullish sign. And then basically you have an entry point right about here, and the Tenkan-sen, Kijisen, the TK are actually diverging mostly. They're kind of starting to catch up right here, but they have been diverging. So as long as we continue with this bullish nature, we might see a rise in Verge. So we've done great on Verge. Is there anything, Z, you want to add about Verge?
Verge is supposed to have their announcement in roughly, a week and a half to 2 weeks. So just look for that, guys. The rumor is that Verge is going to partner up with Pornhub, which is obviously one of the largest, porn centers, or what do you want to call it? Collaboration. Purveyors. In the field, and obviously, porn was one of the only industries that did not go down with the economy. It actually rose. So it's a potentially could be a huge deal right now. Whether they got it is hard to say. I will be keeping everybody inside the room up to date. I heard about the rumor right at the bottom where Cowboy first indicated, and the rumor played out really well. There are guys inside the room. I think our total gain inside the room was like 82% on that one, or 87%. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic
game. Yeah, and that was within 2 days. So I will be keeping everybody updated on that. I do have my network of peeps looking into all this stuff. So everybody will be updated.
Yeah, that was a beautiful one right there. We love to see that. Now, what we're going to be also looking at, what I like to do is follow up with Z, and he and I are going to watch the charts. And what we look for is somebody buying the rumor and selling the news, and that's a concept that's really important in this game. So basically, there's a rumor, people buy on the rumor. That's what we just saw. That's why we are where we are. Now, a lot of people, they're going to possibly sell the news. And what that means is that, like, right before the news comes out, they're going to lock in their profit because they know other people are they're riding it up at the same time. So they're going to sell the news, and you might see a tank. We saw it happen with Lisk, although I think Lisk had a problem as well, but we've seen it happen a million times. So
yeah,
we look for a few things. Over a longer term, I'll probably be looking for a drop off on, buyer volume, or, specific kinds of divergences, things like that. It can be tough to tell what's going to happen. Your TA is not always going to pull it off. I mean, a lot of it is use a stop loss is what we do. So when in doubt, Z and I we'll put a stop loss at, say 5% below the price, and maybe 10%. So we're be sure not to get stopped out of a good run. So, and that's Verge. Yeah.
I think what a lot of people have to realize, this is the reason why I didn't personally go after Lisk. A lot of people have to realize that the FA on things is a big deal. Yes, for example, Lisk has a very strong essay, which is sentiment analysis. It has a strong community. However, I'm not impressed with Lisk at all. Lisk is old tech for me. It's just not exciting to me. It's based on JavaScript. JavaScript is not the most secure. There's just a lot of issues with it. They've failed to produce, which is why I stay away from this. It's the same exact reason why I stay away from Ethereum Classic. And I know this is going to spark a lot of controversy, but I have to say it. This is another reason why I'm very hesitant right now to go into Litecoin. They have to prove themselves, guys. LightPay was a disaster.
Let me ask you guys this. I mean, it seems like, I was talking to one of my business partners, and he's a very, very astute guy from Silicon Valley, and he's like, it's like at every it's like every turn of the page, it seems like Roger Ver is literally taking a dump in Charlie Lee's mouth. That's his words verbatim. And it's, at this point, man, I mean, like, what does Litecoin have? They can't even get a wallet out at this point, man.
Charlie Lee has to be very, very careful right now. Right now, Charlie Lee's word is not the most credible, and he's also one of the biggest impactors in the industry. The first thing was when he, said that he was dumping his coins, or he dumped his coins already. That was a big no-no. People tried to find, the excuse, the reason behind it. He simply said the reason why he dumped his coins is because he didn't want to have an emotional attachment to Litecoin per se in that sense.
Dumped his coins because it was December and it just got done with euphoric markets.
Well,
also there's a regulatory end of it as well. If he wants any sort of I mean, this is a time when there was rumors of Amazon partnerships and this, that, and the other. And some people were saying it's for regulatory reasons he had to dump his coins, because then it's a conflict of interest if he's holding the coins.
Yes, correct. It was Facebook. It was Facebook. Everybody thought that Facebook was going to allow Litecoin to buy, you're allowed to buy ads essentially through Facebook with Litecoin. The funny thing is that like 2 weeks later, Facebook announced a ban on cryptos. So it did the complete opposite. But what people have to realize is that this is what I always harbor, guys. I am an engineer. Like, my trait is an engineer. And engineers are notorious for not being good business sense people. We just aren't. It's just a different mindset. So Charlie Lee is a computer science, a very bright individual. He might not have the best business sense. So he might have actually just dumped his coins because he just felt that way.
I mean, he dumped it when it was like over 400, right?
Yeah, and he said he sold it in small batches or so forth. But just take everything he says, take everything these guys say with a grain of salt, do your own research, and just realize that Litecoin has to perform. If Litecoin does not perform, they will soon very well be a thing of the past. It's just simple as that. I understand everybody wants to believe Litecoin is going to be the future. There's a lot of payment coins out there that are faster than Litecoin. Even with Litecoin,
Bitcoin Cash is
exactly. There's BCH. Even as much as I hate it, even Ripple and stuff like that, it is faster than Litecoin. And there's a bunch of them. There's Sky Token, the one that Cliff called out, and there's a few of them out there. So just realize that, guys. Just realize that.
Yeah, I think what Litecoin has going for it is what Bitcoin has going for it. Because Bitcoin, you can look at Bitcoin as old tech. You can look at Bitcoin as slow, because it is.
It's expensive too.
It's expensive. Really, Bitcoin is not that great of a cryptocurrency, except for its security aspects, right?
Yeah.
So, Litecoin has that as well. And it's faster than Bitcoin. What Litecoin has is the network effect. There are a fair amount of people paying for things in Litecoin around the world. So for me, it comes down to it needs to perform. They need to do Lightning Network. They need to do whatever they have to do. Because Lightning Network supports Litecoin too. Z, is that correct?
It does. Well, Litecoin implements the Lightning. A Lightning Network is just an upgrade that any coin can be a part of. There's a lot of coins actually out there that accept Lightning Network.
So, to think about it from that standpoint, we do have a solution that's pending that essentially is I mean, you know, I've heard the words infinite scalability used. So if you're worried about a technological answer to is Litecoin going to be good enough, there you have it. Lightning Network. It's being built as we speak. Nodes are being added. So I'm actually not that concerned about the future of Litecoin, because I think the technological innovation of Lightning Network, even though I, like Roger Ver, have some philosophical issues with it, as far as reality and pragmatism is concerned, I think Litecoin's going to do great for that reason. You know, to look at it from a TA standpoint, you know, we do have that $100 support right here. Okay, so the $100, and we look at the USD graph a lot. We look at the Bitcoin pairing with Litecoin as well. They're both important, but when it comes to trends, definitely I look at the USD pairing, and $100 is where it's bounced off of. It was actually resistance way back in December, and then when it broke that resistance, as Z was talking about before, it became support, bounced off support. Looks like it's about to bounce again. And so my feeling is that if Bitcoin dips well below 6,000, we might see a dip in Litecoin as low as the next level.
Real fast, Cowboy. What's called Cliff? You are correct. Venn is essentially stepping up right now, but just be careful about that. Venn right now is in a flag, and it's within its channel. It's bouncing within it, so there's a good chance that Venn could do well in the future. But just yeah, it's in a channel right now.
We'll take a quick look at Venn before the show's out, because we got we're almost done here, right? We got not that long. But yeah, it's it could very well bounce. I mean, this is on the daily chart, right? So every one of these bars, these little tiny bars, is a day. And there's some bullishness showing here on your MACD. And then down here, you know, we are bottoming out on RSI. So I'm actually expecting a bounce. So basically, you know, I think any buy below, say, 125, I might consider, but it would have a tight stop loss. I mean, like tight stop loss. Like,
and just real fast, guys, you have to understand something too. When it bounces off support, it doesn't necessarily mean a good thing. Like supports are only as strong as, you know, think about it as like a wall, right? It's if you keep bouncing against the wall eventually breaks out. And that's exactly what was happening with Litecoin previously. It kept bouncing against its support, kept bouncing, and there's only so much hit it can take before the wall gives out. And so right now, I'm looking at Litecoin right now, and it's been bouncing along this 118 to, you know, 1 sort of 12 range. And if it continues this way, it's in accumulation right now. It could very well fall downwards. So just kind of keep your eyes on it. Yeah, it's hit this wall quite a bit. You know, we've announced it in the room many times. Everybody, well, essentially, I announced that I was getting out of LTC, my last little bit of LTC, at 135, and it's treated us very well. But yeah, just be careful about that, guys. Just know that just because there's support, it doesn't mean that support is always going to hold.
Well, yeah, and that's why if you look at my calls and Z's commonly, I know mine for sure. Anytime I see a bounce off support, I will always note every time, bar none, that I wait for a confirmation of bullishness before I actually buy. Because that's the thing. What Z's talking about is always the case. And you could have a dead cat bounce where it just keeps bouncing off this support, and it's just going to melt it away eventually if it continues in a bearish fashion. So, you know, that's what Litecoin looks like. I think that if Bitcoin runs, Litecoin runs. And that's just how it looks. If you look at the graphs, they're very similar. And that's Litecoin. It's at $118 right now. Then I popped over there really quick. We do have a bounce off of the 50% Fibonacci. I usually don't use that 50%. I usually have that actually deleted. But there's a support that's right here as well at 37. You know, like Z said, you had a bounce right here, but then what happened? It dug right through. So we have a bounce right here, but what's going to happen? Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? One thing I don't do is I don't buy big fat green candles. That's just not what I do. And, you know, it really depends on the situation. I don't have any one rule, but one rule that I'm pretty good about is if I bought in before a candle, I sell at the top of a big fat candle. And if I'm not in before the big fat candle, I do not get in during the big fat candle. Those are some very simple rules that I follow. And then I look around at other things to make sure whether or not that's a good rule at the time. But those are the basic coins, basic trends for the week. Z, I think we want to talk a little bit about, actually, I think before we talk about that coin, V, didn't you have something to say?
Absolutely. I mean, you guys have given us so much awesome, wonderful information here on this channel. You guys have been running a proven and effective trade room. The reviews have been stellar. Every single day we've been collecting. We're going to collate all of this into a review collage that people will be able to go onto our webpage over at thecryptoschool.io. The link should be in the description box. And we're going to create a page so you guys will see the stellar reviews. And, most people are thinking to themselves, well, it's $149 now, and the next month's going to be like, $300 on the 15th. Guys, you pay for it with the profit you're going to make. There are many people that more than pay for the room many times over, months. I mean, there are people who damn near pay their entire year already. So the opportunity here is amazing. You're learning how to trade. You've been given a free printing press. Utilize it. Okay? While everybody else during this bloodbath is still hodling, watching their positions dry up, pretty much losing their hodl bag in the process. Our guys in our trading room, everyone's taking profit. They're taking profit and they're putting it in their stash. So when the market, if you're doing this great in a in a bear market where there's blood on the street, you're going to do stellar in a bull market. Anybody,
I can't wait.
I mean, it's going to be exciting to see this, guys. Absolutely exciting. So you have an opportunity here. Don't waste your time with other trade rooms. Don't waste your time with, I don't even call them trade rooms. Some of these guys, I call them hodl rooms. They sit around and it's like an AA meeting. They sit around and they console each other. It's like some sort of an abuse. It's like some sort of a meeting for abused people to go to. They've all been abused by the market. They've all been abused by these so-called quote-unquote trading professionals who've been running these rooms, and they're not trade rooms. They're hodl rooms. How do we know they're hodl rooms? Simple. Nobody there is giving you any sort of information. When there's a bear market and bloom in the street, what is it? It's crickets. You go there, it's crickets. All it is people consoling each other, or they're pissed off and angry. I've looked into it just for kicks and giggles.
Y'all forgot one thing there, V. What else is in there?
Oh yeah, forgot about the psychics.
We got a little bit of a remote viewing going on later today. So actually at the end of the show today, we're going to have remote viewing, and I remotely viewed what was inside of V's wallet. I viewed it remotely, and it's the same thing as Frank. You got a bunch of BitConnect. What y'all doing there, V? That's what people pay for. People pay to come to room for remote viewing. That's it. That's it.
And in other rooms, they got guys throwing chicken bones on the floor after they eaten Popeyes. They take the chicken bones, they throw it on the floor, and they try to see where the market's going. You see, we don't have witchcraft here. We don't have remote viewers. We don't have psychics. We don't have people throwing, witch doctors throwing, chicken bones on the ground or people reading tea leaves. We got two dudes with engineering backgrounds and economic backgrounds who does incredible technical analysis. That's it. We got two sharp guys who do amazing technical analysis. They hold your hand. They show you how it's done. They show you the method to the madness, and they help you through the process. Versus some guy, I'm not going to name, who shows up when there's a bull market, but then he disappears in the bear market. No one can find where he is. And he refuses to, quote unquote, babysit. I'm not going to babysit your trade.
Yeah,
change your life, folks. This is where
correct. Just so you know, guys, I don't exaggerate this. When it was funny. There actually is a few guys that joined in, and they were like, "Wow, you guys are always inside of here." I don't exaggerate that, guys. We are always inside that room. Cowboy and I are always inside that room, And, you know, there's a small window of time and maybe like 4 hours in the entire 24 hours in which we're not there. But for the most part, Cowboy and I are always inside. We're always answering questions, and we're not going to shy away from, you know, this red market. You know, there is ways to get huge gains during this red market. And, you know, any trader who's hiding away during this time is not a trader. It's simple as that.
Exactly.
No, it's not true. My friends that are great traders are not hiding away. They're trading during this time. They're loving it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, we're killing it, man. We're building Satoshis. We got guys in there like, hey, you know, and we're talking about this bear market. I have several people who say in there that within 3 days in US dollars have paid for their first month subscription already. We have guys that when Bitcoin was really doing its drop, when it was really dropping from, you know, whatever it was, 9,500 from 10,000 down, you know, some guys actually made a year's worth in one night of subscription because they knew what to do.
And that's no BS. That's truth. That's true.
And guys, you know, at the end of the day, we let our results speak for ourselves. We don't have to sit here and sell this to you guys like this. You know, you guys can simply like check out the chat. You know, we've got our guys inside there. You know, they're letting people know like how they're doing. Ask questions. You know, ask them how they've been doing. Simple as that. And as you can see, you know, a lot of people are doing really, really stellar. And
Exactly.
you know, our results are speaking for themselves. But yeah, anyways, we can go back to OneChain right now.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
you
people
want to give us some juicy information, man. Go for it.
Yeah, so a lot of people have been very interested about OneChain. You know, it was the biggest ICO of 2017, especially in Q4 of 2017. I got into the ICO at that time and didn't have very much. I wish I had more, but I'm really happy I got in. OneChain essentially, guys, is a dApp platform. So it's a digital app platform, similar as Ethereum, where you can build ICOs on their platform. Cowboy, you're echoing, buddy.
Okay. Oh, was it my keyboard?
No. My voice is echoing through you. Anyways, it's fine. So OneChain is a dApp platform, but it also has a security of Monero. And why is this so important? It's because OneChain is looking to target the financial sector of cryptocurrencies. So you know all those coins like PPT and all these like Pillar, Veritasium, and so forth. They are going to be building on OneChain's platform. And the reason why that's so important is because obviously financial hedge funds and so forth that want to create a dApp themselves need that security, need to make sure that, you know, their product is 100% secure, it's 100% legitimate, and that's what OneChain is looking to provide in this field. Now, OneChain is not only a dApp platform and not only a privacy coin, but also it's a cross-chain utility token in itself. It has that built in, guys. A lot of times you see tokens that help aid in cross-chain, for example, like Link or like Loopring and so forth. OneChain has that built in within itself. And that is so big because what that will let it do is that it will let it communicate. You can actually communicate with other chains across the entire crypto sphere, and you can transact through that. So like you guys always have heard about the atomic swaps and decentralized exchanges. OneChain will essentially be like that, built in automatically. So it'll sort of be like Shapeshift where you can transfer coins to coins, but this will be completely cross-chain.
Yeah, it's like the Pillar of the financial coin sector, right? Sort of.
Sort of. So Pillar is a hub for all dApps to be utilized on it. OneChain will allow you to just simply transact and interact with other coins and other spheres. So the main thing is obviously the ERC20 token. OneChain's own tokens will be able to exchange for ERC20 tokens simultaneously and instantly. And OneChain is a blockchain 3.0. So you will be seeing extremely fast transaction speeds and so forth. So that's why OneChain is so big. And finally, guys, OneChain is going to have 6 dApps being built on it in April. They're going to announce 6 dApps, guys. The only 2 coins that have more dApps being built on it are Neo and Ethereum. So you can see just how big OneChain is. And what I cannot stress enough is that OneChain is at roughly a $300 million market cap. This is so tiny, guys. Just compare the market cap with Ethereum and Neo, and check out OneChain. OneChain's market cap. So Neo right now is at a total market cap of 3 billion. It was at 9 billion before it bled out, and Ethereum right now, Ethereum's market cap right now is at 38 billion. OneChain's at 300 million, guys. So just know that it can easily 10 times, if not more than that, very quickly, especially when the dApps start rolling out.
Yeah, market cap is one of the most important things. I learned it late. Z clued me in on it because I went in not too heavy, but heavy at the time on a coins. He's like, "Why'd you do that?" I'm like, "Well, it's great. It's got this, it's got that." He said, "Dude, there's like 20 billion coins."
It was a McAfee coin. It was a McAfee. You were so excited about it in the beginning.
I figure if McAfee can pump a coin, he can pump an ICO. You know,
it was like 30 trillion tokens.
Yeah, and it was so stupid, right? Because think about it. Let's just say you have an industry where there are 5 players. The industry has just to make it real easy numbers, we'll say it's $100 billion industry. You got 5 members. We'll say that the main member has half the industry. The other 4 members are splitting up the other 50%. They have, 12.5% each. We'll just make it easy. So if you want to break into an industry that already has an 800-pound gorilla, and you're aiming at one of these 12.5%, 12.5% of $100 billion, $100 billion, 12.5% of that is, I think it's 125 million, I think. So if you're looking at like, oh, well, we're going to have 125 million coins. Okay, so the best you're going to get probably based on my math is $1 per coin. You're not going to see, $1,000 coin. You might go to 2 if you end up getting 25% of the industry. See, so I know there's a lot of math ran by you guys. You can rewind it, listen to this later. That's a very basic, quick math way to think of market cap. So yeah, it's so important. I learned it so late. With Juan, there's another thing, Z. I think we were talking about it. Juan already has partnerships with, I think, Quantum, ICX, Aeon, and what else? Z? Anybody else?
I mean, there's so many. Honestly, I can't really. It's tough to name them all. But the main thing about OneChain is the big money partnerships that they have. There's been some rumors that OneChain is partnered up with the likes of like Microsoft, like actually Microsoft, not just just a crappy partnership, but actual like Microsoft has actually taken a huge look at OneChain. Their advisory board is very strong. They have apparently Sprint looking at them and so forth. So just there's a lot of things with OneChain, guys. We could talk about it for hours, but just take a look at it and please do your own research on it.
Yeah. So I mean I guess that was the coin that we wanted to kind of talk about, really give away. I think if you look at the chart right now, very briefly, I personally think the sentiment is positive, meaning that I think generally people are buying Juan right now. Okay, that's my opinion of market sentiment. Z, do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, so
absolutely.
Yeah, it's people, especially people who know what Z knows, right? And most people don't know what Z knows, and therefore, in this case, what I know, because I know that because Z knows that, right? So there are 2 ways to handle the crypto game. You can jump in, not know anything, watch YouTube, listen to half the people don't know what they're talking about, bet on coins, try to learn charting, and then 8 or 9 months later, after potentially losing a bunch of money, you try to find somebody to shave some time off of your education process. That's one way. You lose money for a while, then you get smart. Well, it's said that people learn from their own mistakes, but wise people learn from other people's mistakes. Z and I got in, not knowing anything, but I have a strong statistics background. I did calculus-based statistics, and I've been through engineering calculus. Z's an engineer, so both of us are very comfortable looking at charts. And I've actually traded paper silver over the years. So we kind of came in with the tools that we had. We lost some money, and then we both built actually kind of 2 very different strategies. And because our 2 strategies are so different, the 2 of us make like a sort of a Wonder Twin thing. It's we handle what the other guy is not what the other guy is too busy to handle. Because you can't do this with one person. This game takes like 4 or 5 people if you really want to run market. And so Z and I have, especially Z, has developed a network, and we're killing it. That's all I can say. And right now, rooms like ours, what we do as often as we're in there, $600, and that's probably not as good as our room. $600 a month, USD. Okay, $400 is your average price for like just a call room, no chat room. People just put their call out. Hey, we're going to buy here. We're going to sell here. You can't ask them why. You don't learn anything. No one is showing you how they're charting. Sometimes they do, but you can actually come into our room and say, hey, can you chart this coin for me? And we'll sit there and chart it. And you get to basically let us live tell you what we think and why we think, and talk about what's happening with this coin and that coin. Look, if all I can say is if somebody is going to get into the crypto game, and I don't give financial advice, but in my own situation, I wished I would have found somebody that knew what the heck they were doing, because who knows how much money I'd have right now. However, because Z and I learned it the hard way, other people don't have to. And that's 150. Yeah. Sorry, Z. $150 a month. Hey, you're ripping us off. So, come and get it, man. I mean, $150 a month is just ridiculous. 300 is ridiculous, and it's going to go to 300 on the on tax day. So that's my pitch. I'm done pitching. Z, what you got?
Yeah. So I don't pitch anything, guys. I let my results speak for themselves. That's just how I operate. I'm a simple man in that sense. I let my customers speak for themselves. You can just, like I said, you can check out the chat, ask any questions, guys. I just don't agree with call rooms or with crypto rooms, trading rooms, that in which you cannot speak with the guy directly. Every single one inside in that room can ask me questions directly. They can ask me why I'm looking at coins. They can ask me, why am I, like, what is my thought process? For example, when I look at a coin like WAN, what is my thought process when I looked at a coin like STK? Why did I believe that these coins are going to go up? I'm not just throwing chicken bones in a fire and dancing around it, with chance. I don't do that, guys. I actually read, and that's I don't know. Call me that's the engineer in me.
Y'all know how to read?
And that's the engineer in me. I have a very high risk tolerance. A very high risk averseness, and I don't like to take the heaviest chances, guys. So when I make a call, when I actually look at a coin, I really, really look into it, and that's how I approach things. And I think that everybody should be approaching things this way. And if you're in a call room in which the guy's just shouting out things because of some other person's report, then that's bogus, right? So I know that there's a certain individual that was doing that based on Cliff's report. He was calling out coins just because of Cliff's report, which is like, dude, then what research did you do to yourself?
Nothing.
You just paid $99 for his report, and now you're selling that report to other people at $400 a month.
It's disgusting.
Oh, there's another room that their TA gets ripped off on. There's another room that I know of where people go in and they steal the TA and they put it in their own rooms, and that's our room. We don't know who's doing it. We don't know who, but Z and I are finding our charts in other rooms as well. So
yep.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's usually
often imitated, never duplicated, fellas. Often imitated, never duplicated.
And I got to clarify that because they only come out of our free room. So we have actually I think it's like $4 a month. So it's just Bitcoin. It's not any of our deeper calls. So the people who are paying the money for room are they're only getting that. But in our cheaper room, we have a SPY. We're working on it. But I see my Bitcoin charts go out every so often. I'm like, hey, where'd that come from? It's a compliment. It's a compliment, though.
Exactly. Gentlemen, thank you for both of you guys for being on again. We'll be back Wednesday, folks. So keep it subscribed here. Hit the like button. Make a comment. Share. Tell your friends and family. Anybody who's interested in cryptocurrencies, you want to learn the basics? Well, we have a course for you. $297 for a lifetime membership to the Crypto School. That gives you the basics. There's over 20 some odd videos already up there There's a massive curriculum, shows you what are the best wallets, the best exchanges, how to operate, how to move it from index to index, you name it. It's on there, thecryptoschool.io, with the basic school. Now, if you went through the schooling or you're already proficient in cryptos, you're familiar with it, you want to just get into the trading, you could do that right now. Just go to thecryptoschool.io. The description is in the box. Okay. I'm sorry, the link is in the description box. And then you just simply click watch us trade. Once you click that watch us trade, it's $149 per month right now for a limited time. At least, you'd sign in now before the April 15th date. You're going to get it for $149. And then the price moves up onwards from $300 a month. And again, that profit is made. You pay for your membership from the profits you're going to be making, folks. So don't sweat it. Don't panic. Be bold about it. Join the room. And you got these two amazing guys here. They don't sleep. They are just out there killing it. Learn the trade. Learn from these guys. With that being said, Cowboy Z, you got 30 seconds. Go for it.
Again, for me, I'm at a point of gratitude in my life. There are so many things to look at that that are problems to solve. If you listen to the morning show and you hear kind of a lot. I mean, this Rogue Money is awesome, guys. Remain Calm is great. You get all this information. I'm in the solutions department. So is Rogue. That's why we work together. Okay. So in this world where there are so many things that we cannot control, the one thing and the most important thing I think in sort of the physical world, not the spiritual world, but the physical world that is to be controlled is finances. So I'm in here, Z's in here, and we're in here making sure that we are securing our financial future. And when I hear people say to me, oh, I just, made this much, I just made that much, I can pay my bills for a month, I can pay for my kids to eat. Those are things that I didn't get into this to have those accomplishments. I got into this to make money, but now I'm finding out lives are changing. See, I'm in such a position, a feeling of gratitude. I can't thank anybody. Z, I can't thank you enough. V, you, Frank, everybody in the room. Thank you all. That's what I got to say.
And for me, guys, if you guys are having any doubts, just once again, look at the live chat, guys. This is not us talking. These are, customers inside there, talking about their experiences. Check that out, guys. There's some questions being answered by, customers already inside there, which are, fantastic, guys. We let our results do the speaking for themselves. And, I cannot stress this enough, guys. We have a window of opportunity right now in which you can make, once again, life-changing gains. And this was it. Just know that this was enough for me to comfortably quit my job as an engineer, making good money. I pursued this full time because of, I saw how great this opportunity is, guys. Don't let this opportunity, squander itself.
Yeah. Who wants to quit their lame job?
Exactly. It's just, I did it, guys. I did it. And, it's been a blessing every single day. And I'm very fortunate that I took that, leap of faith, and it's paid off. And, there's a lot of money to be made. We have a small cycle, and, we might as well try for it. Right. And, that's, those are my comments.
Absolutely. With that being said, guys, we're over and out again. Thecryptoschool.io. The link is in the description box. Thank you all for listening. Again, subscribe, like, and share. And join us there. Let's make some money while we have the time, while we go out there and be epic. With that being said, we'll see you guys back on Wednesday. Hasta la pasta.